Hey everybody, Jo here again. How are you doing? I hope you're doing okay, and I hope you had a lovely weekend. Now today I'm coming in with a design. It starts off as a clean and simple, smaller design because so many of you've said that you love the smaller designs. So this original piece of card here is a B7. And as you know, you get them in the packs ready cut. But then what I've done is I've just chosen a couple more larger pieces of card for matting and layering, because a few of you have said you want to put these smaller pieces in your journal or make a larger card. What can you do? So I thought this was a lovely way of extending that stencil work. As you know, I love stencil work, just diagonally coming across the page. We find this really pleasing because our eye reads in a Z. So anything with that diagonal that makes your eye move across in a diagonal fashion, you just find very pleasing. So I've teamed up one of our new Magpies with the Fairy Charms. Now, normally you would have this sort of dangling down, but if you stamp it sideways, it just makes a lovely little perch for the magpie. And I've gone for the wording off the Time Flies set. But you could always, if you wanted, change it up. I mean, I just liked the, flies, as in a magpie flies. But you know me, that's the silly way my brain works. But if you wanted our heartfelt verses here, look, you could very easily put in there with love or just for you. And I think this would make a lovely generic card just for somebody that you didn't know what for, to keep in for one of those emergency cards. Now, I don't know about you, but I have a lot of those. So I'm going to start off. I've got myself my B7. I'm just going to put that where I can see it. I've also just cut a couple of other mats and layers here. And I put a black line round. And this for me, I've already done it on the other two. I keep a piece of copy paper just for doing this. And I do this at the beginning because the pen can go rogue. Those little naughty pixies, I don't know if it's the cheeky mice or the mischievous magpies, but the pen can go rogue. So just drag it. I find if I hold the card down with copy paper, that helps. You watch, now I've said that, it'll whiz. But sometimes it can whiz that way. But don't worry, if you do it at the beginning, you can always turn your card over. That's the beauty of Multifarious card. It's double-sided. So, and this just saves using black card for matting and layering. So we can get rid of that, put that somewhere safe because I will be using that again. And we'll start off with our design. So as I say, and this will be lovely, just thinking, straight on your card blank if you wanted. Now in the Fairy Charms there's 3, but I liked this arrow, almost looks like an arrow, the heart, because it was easier to perch my little magpie. VersaFine Claire, the Nocturne. So remember, if you're one of our new friends and followers, this is a permanent ink. Now, I've just caught the edge. Now, me being me, if I was to stamp with this, it would come on my card. I have got magical friends, such as Tracy and Mona, and they could leave the ink on there and it wouldn't show, but with me, it would. And again, it's all about knowing what you're like, almost your strengths and your weaknesses. So I'll link this up again. And again, I'm a tinker. I've just caught that there. So this one I'm going to just put underneath. And it just makes such a lovely... I mean, it might be if you didn't want to use the magpies, you could put a fairy sitting on there. I mean, I love that. Just look around. You've got so many different things that you could just on that. See, I'm thinking bird. I mean, it might be you're not keen on magpies. Look at one of the other birds, the bird set. And it might be you want to put 2 or 3 birds on there. Now, this is where you need to put your head over, just because we want to get him perching right on there. But you know what I'm like. If he's not, I've got my black fine liner, but we've just managed, look, to get him just on there. So I'll add the sentiment now. And as I say, this is from the Time Flies set. Now, it might be, this could be for a retirement or... I mean, you could put 2 magpies. It could be a joke on somebody's wedding anniversary, couldn't it? A play on the fact that time flies, how long they've been married. So I'm just going to put this here, just that, and I just like that little grouping. As I say, you can alter this up a little bit. And then the last little thing, I'm going to add the dreams beneath. Now, you know me, I put an arrow look. So again, if you knew, I find it with a permanent pen, I just put an arrow on the back because I have stamped a sentiment upside down before now, because that's me. Now, I'm coming in with Arctic. And I would always test it on the copy of paper first look. Do a first and then don't ink up, stamp again. Do a second generation, just so you can see and you can decide which one you want to use. Now, I'm actually going to use both. But the important thing here is to get it straight. So I'm going to put the first one underneath. And then my second generation, I'm going to stamp above so that there's not as much colour on my lovely magpie. Now, it might be you want to put that down the side. I just wanted it in the middle for this. So what I'm going to do now is give that a blot just with my copy paper, because again, you're versifying clear, slow drying ink, and you don't want it to smudge when you add the stencil work. Now, we're going to be a bit crafty here, because what we're going to do is get our other pieces of card, look, and get our bippity boppity glue. And we're going to stick our pieces of card together. So I just put the bippity boppity glue round the edge and then sort of diagonally across the middle. And this is the bit, don't judge me. I'll get it as square as I can. I do think it's funny. Oh, look, I've got a bit of ink there. Where's my magic eraser? Where have I got it? Here we go. Sand eraser. Let's just get rid. I don't know where that came from, but I'll tell you what, this sand eraser is fabulous. Right, check my hands. Yep, I don't know where that sneaked in from. Oh, it might be off there, look. Sure, it's those pixies. They do say if you have fairies, you end up with pixies. Right. So we'll get this one. And again, you've got a bit of wiggle time with your bippity boppity glue. Remember, it dries clear and you've got that wiggle time. So I think that looks pretty straight to me, pretty, because I know what you like. I know you'll all zoom in and you'll go, Jo, it's not perfect. Right, it's a hand-created design. I'm going with that. I'm having that. So what we do now is bring in the stencil, and I've gone for Flora. I just love the flow of this stencil. And the colour I'm going for is Blue Atoll. Just because with magpies, I always think they have a sort of a bluey tinge to them. And what I'm going to do, you could put the stencil right across, but I almost want to make, and again, I think this looks like birds' wings. I shouldn't really tell you the way my head works, should I? Because, you know, I'm letting you into secrets. So I almost want the wing coming up and then coming down. So I'm going to go this way and just spend your time looking exactly where you want it. And I'm just putting my kitchen roll there and then blending the lid as we always do. And I can see where the magpie is. So I know exactly where I want that stencil, and I'm just going to brush away. And for those of you that are saying, how does it match? This is how it matches. You know me, we like a bit of a Joe's cheat. Oh, that's nice. Just slightly darker. I'm not going to ink up. You'll be surprised how much ink is left on your stencil. So I'll just press a little bit harder. And how much is on the brush? As I say, you have some on the stencil there, so just by rebrushing, we can move that and almost blend it onto the card. Yes, I'm happy with that. So if you look, so there we've got almost that wing going up. So I'll turn it round. And again, we'll go that way. And just so I don't go over this bit, look, I'll put my kitchen roll there. And again, if you were worried that the sentiment looked a bit strong, once you put the stencil work, it almost distracts your eye. It pushes that sentiment stamping more into the background. So again, let's lift it up and have a look. Yeah, just a little bit more. So let's use that ink off that brush. I'm going to press a bit harder. Just blend it out. Lift it up. Oh, yes. So if I turn that round, look. Now, what I am going to do is just pop a little bit on my mat there. Move my brush out of the way. With a fan brush that's in a water pot, I just want some little water splats here, and I want them blue. So I'm just going to come in. There we go. And if I just give that a wipe. Look, and I love the way we've got a hint of blue there. Now what I am going to do is just get myself a tag, pop that to one side, and then here on the stencil we've got some blue ink there. Probably not a lot because I did try and use it all up, but let's just see if we can get a little bit on here. Because again, if we can, that's the start. Let's have a little peek. Oh, we've got something. Don't know how much, but it will be the start of a design. So when I want to do a tag for Tag Tuesday, oh, look. Pop that on the floor next to Eric. I'll dry that in a minute. Look, we've definitely got something there. So it's always worth, I think, cleaning your stencil this way because it saves actually having to put ink on your stencil to make a background. You've got a ready supply. So I'm going to put that to one side and dry this because it's time for those little finishing tricks. And what I'm just going to do with my Modulars pencils, there's a lovely little light blue and its number, I know you're going to ask me 15, and I just want to emphasise a little bit more blue just on his wings there. And then I just want a couple of highlights. And again, for me, it's these little finishing touches. And I've got a clear wink of Stella. And if I just go over, I just want to make, because I know if you look at Magpies, they glisten. They really do. And I just want to give him that lovely glisten there. And there we go, look. And when somebody looks, because they know if this is a card for a crafty friend, you know they'll look to see if your stencil work matches up, and look, by magic it does beautifully. So I hope you have a go at that, and just think, not only can you alter the stamps you use, think of all the different stencils you could use, or even same stamps, same stencils, different colour. When I was demonstrating at the weekend, I was using green for a change in the background. And you know, it just puts on a whole different tone. Or you could use two colours. We could have added a little bit of purple in here and just blend it to the blue. Oh, do you know what? I can't wait to see what you create. You know, I love seeing your work, and I love it when you share it in our groups. So remember to go to Lavinia for you and reach out with Lavinia on social media and just share that love that you have of stamping. So I will see you again tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Have a lovely, lovely evening and look after yourselves. Love and hugs from me. Have fun. Bye for now.